So, hello everyone. Hope you're doing good and welcome back to my channel. Today we are at the day 5 of the June Daily Leetcode Challenge, and we have an easier question for us. It's question 1232. Check if a straight line. So, okay, check if it is a straight line. Okay. So, for the last 3 or 4 days, we were having questions on either trees or graphs, and we were doing mostly the BFS or the DFS traversal. In the yesterday's question, we also saw something called the disjoints at union. So if you have not seen those questions till now, I will definitely request you to go and have those, see those questions once, try those questions once. You will definitely get a nice exposure. They are not very hard level questions. They are, perfect for a beginner to start with. Okay. So that was something which I wanted to tell you before I begin this question. And for today's question, it's very simple question. If you are aware of this maths concept, then definitely it will make sense because it's all about maths. Okay. So what they are given here is, see the input first. There is an array called coordinates, and you can see there are some two. It's a 2D array basically, and each of the elements has two elements. Okay, that is the basic idea. If you go through the question, you have to know that each of the coordinates is basically representing a point in space. Okay, in a point in 2D space, that is their x and y components. Okay, x and y coordinates. Okay, represents the coordinates of a point. Okay, check if these points are make a straight line in the xy plane. Okay, so, if I remember correctly, in if you are from CBSE background in the class 11, we will have these topics. All the formulas will be there for straight line. So, in this particular question, we are going to use the concept of a slope. Okay, what is the slope now? See, take 2 points. Okay, take 2 points. So, first point will have x1 and y1 as its coordinate. Second point will have x2 and y2 as its coordinate. Okay, we will try to find the slope of a point. Okay, slope of, see, this is the formula for slope. Okay, see, y2 means the y coordinate of the second point. Similarly, x2 means the x coordinate of the second point, and similarly y1 is y coordinate of the first point, and so on. Okay, so for finding slope, see, what is slope basically? Slope means it's the tan means tangent. Okay, the tan degree, see, cos, sin, tan, similarly these things are there. Okay, slope means is the value of the tan of the angle made by the line with the x-axis. Okay, tan of the angle made by the line with the x-axis. So these are some technicalities. You need not know these things are for now, but just remember this is all about maths. Okay, so this is the formula which we are going to use for finding slope. Okay, now for this question, see, we have to fix a reference here. Okay, with reference to, because see, in this, if you see the formula, this formula requires the coordinates of 2 points. Okay, so at least one point should be fixed. Only then the second point can be variable one, and we can, get to know if all the points are in same line or not. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, I'm going to fix the first point. Okay, with the very first point as the coordinate. Okay, so always my x1 and y1 is going to be this only. Now my x2 and y2 will vary. Okay, x2 and y2 will be one after another, all of these points. Okay, x and y2 will be one after another, all of these points. Okay, so the idea here is, see, I am getting some slope here. Okay, so if I get the same, see, for example, this is the x1 y1, let us say this is the x2 y2. Okay, I will get some slope. Now for this same x1 y1, I will try for this point. Okay, if I get the same slope, that means they are still in the same line. Okay, similarly for the same x1 y1, I will try for this point, this as the x2 and y2. If I get the same slope again, that means they all can lie on the same line. The basic idea is, this is the form for slope. Okay, here we require 2 points, that is the x1 y1 and x2 y2. That is x and y coordinates of 2 points. Okay, so we are going to fix one of them. What is that? We are going to fix the first, the coordinates given to us as the x1 and y1. Always x1 and y2 will be varying for the rest of the points. Now, how to check if they are in the same line? Okay, the idea is, if for the see, because x1 y1 is fixed, right? If for that particular fixed point, all the other points are giving the same slope, that means they all are in the same straight line. See, there are many ways to do it. Ideally speaking, you should be taking slope of any two possible pairs. Okay, and then you should be checking. But in see, maybe if it comes to a case of circle or something like that, we can do that. But in case of straight line, there we always have the flexibility of, fixing one point and then trying to find the slope for the rest of the ones with this particular fixed point. Okay, if they all comes the same, that means the line is a straight line. So that is what we are going to implement. I hope you are clear with my approach. Okay, the first see, point is fixed. Okay, it's going to be x1 and y1 for, see, this is the formula. Please pay attention to the formula. If you are, clear with the formula, then definitely everything will be clear to you. Y2 minus y1 divided by x1 minus x1. Okay, so x1 and y1 are fixed. X1 and y2 will be varying for each of these points. Then if the formula gives the same value for all these points, okay, for all these points, if the formula gives the same value, that means they are in the same straight line. Otherwise, no, they are not in the same straight line. Okay, so how to implement this? So yeah, see, this formula has a numerator and a denominator. Okay, we will be calculating each of them separately. Okay, so NR refers to the numerator, DR refers to the denominator. Okay, so I've already calculated N is the length of the coordinates array. Okay, so my numerator is y2 minus y1. Okay, y2 minus y1. What is y2? This is going to see. This is going to be my y2. This is going to be my y1. Okay, yeah, this one. So coordinates one of one. Coordinates. This is the coordinates one. Coordinates one of one. So this point. Okay. Similarly, coordinates zero of one. This is coordinates of zero. And this is coordinates of zero of one. Okay. So y2 minus y1, as I have mentioned here. Similarly, if we just go through it, this will be coordinates of x2 minus x. Okay, x2 minus x1. Yeah, this is going to be denominator. Now remember, when we calculate this formula, there is a possibility that the denominator can be zero. Okay, so to avoid that, see if I check if the denominator is zero, then simply I will be making the slope as infinite. Okay, I'll just assign this value to it. In all other cases, I will be calculating the actual slope. Okay, so actual slope equal to numerator divided by denominator. It will be a floating value, floating point value, right? Now, see, slope is calculated between these 2 points. Okay, now I will be starting my loop from the next point. Okay, that is the index 2. Okay, you can see the index 2 I am going to start now. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing. If you see this, see coordinates of 0, this thing is fixed here. Okay, this thing is fixed. You can see the index 0 is coming, but this thing is variable because index I is coming here. Okay, wherever I is present, that is going to be a variable one. Okay, because I is going to iterate from index 2 to n minus 1. Okay, so for calculating y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1, I am changing the y2. Okay, I'm changing the y2 based on all the points. Similarly, this one, x2 is changed based on all the points, but y1 is fixed. Okay, and similarly x1 is fixed. Okay, that is the basic idea. Again, I'm checking if the denominator is 0. Then see, in this case, it's slope 1. Okay, in this case, it's slope. Okay, so slope 1 equal to float of increment. Okay, else real slope 1 is calculated. Then I'm checking if the current slope which I get, okay, so that is slope 1, is not equal to this slope. That is, this slope being calculated is not equal to this slope. In that case, I'm returning false. Okay, this follow will continue. If no false are returned, and finally we'll come to this and we'll return true. That is the basic idea of this question. So this question is purely maths. In the worst case, if you are really not sure what to do, you could have calculated the slope between any two pair of points, and the approach would have taken O of n square time complexity. But if you have this idea that we can fix up, because see, you have to basically analyze the formula for the slope. Okay, if you analyze the formula for the slope, you'll find that there are 2 points involved. What we can do is we can fix one of the points, and for the rest point we can iterate over it, iterate over all the remaining points, and if they all give the same slope, that means they're in the same straight line. That is, there is a possibility that a same straight line will pass through them. That is the basic idea, friends. If you talk about the time complexity, you can clearly see I am using a single for loop for you can see it's O of 1 time velocity. Okay, it's going to be often because I'm just iterating over a single for loop. That is, I'm just iterating once over all the elements of the array. Okay, if you talk about the space complexity, uh, uh, I am not using any array as such. Okay, I'm not using any array or any dictionary or any list or anything like that. Okay, it's just stat calculations using just one or two variables. The slope and the sloper variables are being used. Okay, and they're discarded after every loop. Okay, so the space complexity is going to be O of 1. Okay, we are not as such using any. So it's a constant time complexity basically. It won't be depending on n. Okay, it won't be depending on the number of elements in the coordinates array, so it won't be dependent on n. Okay, it will be a constant one. Okay, constant time complexity, and constant space complexity. And the time complexity, as I mentioned, we are going to iterate over all the elements of the array. That's why it's going to be often. So friends, it was an easy level question. It was marked as easy level question. I hope you really enjoyed solving it, because see, this kind of questions, I understand you should be knowing the maths. If you're not aware of the maths, it will be difficult for you. But I hope after knowing the maths, at least you can try it on your own once before seeing my solution. You can try it on your own, and I'm sure you will be getting the answer exactly matching, because see, it's a very simple way of solving it. Okay, you're not using any rocket science here. No algorithm as such we are using here. Okay, for example, when it comes to graph and all, you should be knowing the algorithms. Okay, what is topological sort, what is b-phase, what is the d-phase. But in this kind of questions, it just requires a programming idea. Okay, how to code and how to store the variables, all those things. Okay? Especially in this kind of questions, we are not using even dictionary, right? So yeah, friends, that was all for today. If you have a better approach, please do comment below and let us discuss further. Thanks a lot for today. See you tomorrow. Thanks a lot.